Good afternoon, this is Conservative Brarian here. This is my second video, and I thought this was a good topic to discuss. Since the debates, there's been one focus: racism. That's it. No policies, no policy prescriptions, no thoughts about policy, no nothing. Nothing on economics, nothing on foreign policy, nothing on the COVID. It's just about Trump and white supremacy. This is the playbook, my friends. This is exactly what they're doing. This is 2016, except 2016 was about the Access Hollywood tape. Okay, this is their go-to. This is what they're going to stick with between now and the election. The other thing is wearing mask. If you don't wear a mask, mask. It's all about mask and racism, right? And I want to go over a few things. First, I want to talk about this quick clip of Kelly McEnany talking to John Roberts today. And John Roberts had a meltdown on Fox News. So here is the presser, John Roberts of Fox, asking Kelly McEnany about Donald Trump and white supremacy. Hat tip to Dan Bongino.
Start off, I'd like to ask you for a definitive and declarative statement without ambiguity or deflection. As the person who speaks for the president, does the president denounce white supremacism and groups that espouse it in all their forms?
This has been answered yesterday by the president himself, the day before by the president himself on the debate stage. The president was asked this. He said sure 3 times. Yesterday he was point blank asked, do you denounce white supremacy? And he said, I've always denounced any form of that. I can go back and read for you in August 2019, in one voice, our nation must condemn racism, bigotry, and white supremacy. In August of 2017, racism is evil, and those who cause violence in its name are criminals and thugs, including the KKK, neo-Nazis, white supremacists, and other hate groups. I have an entire list of these quotes that I can go through with you. He has condemned white supremacy more than any president in modern history.
Just to clear it up this morning, can you, naming it, make a declarative statement that you denounce, that the president denounces?
I just did. The president had...
Okay, you see it right there? That's not a reporter. It is not a reporter, my friends. I went to journalism school. I'm not a journalist now. But when you're a journalist, you report, you let the reader decide, or the viewer. You don't give your opinion, you don't editorialize, and you don't do this. This is an activist. Shame on John Roberts. And he had a meltdown because he didn't like the Twitter mob coming after him. Shame on him.
Has denounced this repeatedly. The president was asked this.
Yes, he read quotes denouncing white supremacy. What don't you get?
You're contriving a storyline and a narrative.
Asking you to put
He
this
said,
to rest.
You say, put what to rest? For what? Why? It's been done before. But he's acting like an activist.
I just did. I read you all of the quotes, and if you need to see them in writing, I will put them in an email.
Past quotes. It's the quote, I denounce white supremacy. Why is this difficult for John Roberts? I'll get to that in a second.
So, Kelly, can you right now denounce white supremacy and the group
I
that
just
espouse
did. The president has denounced white supremacy, the KKK, and hate groups in all forms. He signed a resolution to that effect. The president just last week, perhaps you all weren't covering it, but just last week expressed his desire to see the KKK prosecuted as domestic terrorists. This president had advocated for the death penalty for a white supremacist, the first federal execution in 17 years. His record on this is unmistakable, and it's shameful that the media...
Okay. There's a lot to unpack, but it's telling. Listen, John Roberts works for Fox. John Roberts usually comes across as a straight-arrowed reporter. Tucker Carlson has had John Roberts on. We're going to go to John Roberts. John, tell us the news, and he'll give us the report. I don't know what's going on here with John Roberts. I have no idea what he's doing. His even wife, the day before, interviewed Trump, and Kelly McEnany brought up the point that Trump was asked that. He was asked by John Roberts' wife, another reporter, and he denounced it. This fascination for him to denounce it on point every time when he's done it multiple times. This tells you one thing. This election is not about policy. It's not about the American people. It's about getting the president out of office. It's about painting him a racist, a horrible human being, a killer, because their candidate, Joe Biden, the Democrat, has no answer. He has no policy. He has no plan. He's a flip-flopper. And I can't believe that happened. And John Roberts had a meltdown. How dare you? How dare you talk? How dare you Twitter people tell me? Stop blaming the media. You can go on for yourself. I got other things to show. But it's going to hark back to this. I want to show you something. This is from 2016. Excuse me. This year, 2020. Former GOP strategist Rick Wilson, effing hating Trump is the key to winning 2020. Former Republican political wizard, outlines Democrat strategy versus Trump. The guy is a lying liar. Who lies? Okay. This proves my point. Rick Wilson this man was a Republican strategist. Now, before 2015, when Trump declared, nobody knew who Rick Wilson was. We had no idea. Now, he runs the Lincoln Project. He's got a book deal. He's on CNN every 5 seconds. He's calling Trump supporters toothless rubes. He's a hero to the left. They love him. What Lincoln Project's getting tons of press. They raise a lot of money. They do ads that are quite effective. But here's being interviewed by Dino Badiah. And Dino Badiah is a Palestinian-American attorney who is a progressive left-wing hack. Okay? He is an angry progressive. And what Rick Wilson's saying is what just happened about beating Trump. To beat Trump, make the entire election about his corruption, sexism, cruelty, and bigotry. Wilson believes that 2020 election is framed as a choice between 4 more toxic years of Trump. Virtually any person Americans will pick the non-Trump on the ballot. He urges Democrats to forget the polls. Okay? And he also talks about policy. He goes into it that policy is not important. Okay? Policy is secondary compared to getting Trump out of office. Okay? And this is what they're running with. Just hating the man is enough to win. This strategist, back in the early days, I have found some articles from 2009, 2010, when he was still a Republican as a strategist. Couldn't find a whole lot because nobody really knew about this man. Now he's a star, which proves his point. Hating Trump is good press. Hating Trump gets you on TV. And so those articles that he's quoted in, he actually says, you got to talk about economics in policy, in elections. You got to talk about it. Very important. Now, don't matter. Who cares? It's just about hating the man. Okay, so these people do not have principles. They're in it for power, they're in it for notoriety, and they're in it to make a lot of money. And Rick Wilson and Steve Schmidt are making a ton of money. Okay. So this is from Salon, the left-wing website. And they will tell you, if you give them enough press and give them enough opportunity, they will tell you exactly what they're feeling. Okay, so when it comes to Trump and racism, Antifa, this is from 1999 now. They'll tell you that Antifa started in 2017, got notoriety in 2017 with Charlottesville, fighting the white supremacists. But actually, they started way back in 1999. This is at Seattle, at the World Trade Organization. And this is a little bit about, this is Black Bloc Antifa in Seattle in 1999. Okay. So, right there proves that Antifa is an organized group. Okay. Down here, we have some pictures. Now, they say Antifa is not organized. They are highly organized. They have social media accounts from places all over the country. That's organization right there. You just don't show up and call yourselves an idea. You have an ideology. Theirs is communism to destroy this country. They denounce capitalism, but they use the term anti-fascist. Okay? Very effective, but they are highly organized. This is the one in Hamburg, Germany. This is the, okay? That's Antifa in Hamburg. Okay? Sorry, friends who don't believe in this is organized. This is highly organized. Well funded. They have great communication, and they get shade from the left-wing media. So they can do and say pretty much whatever they want, because no one's going to think twice about them. Now back to Trump, Charlottesville, 2017. And again, this all doesn't matter. It really doesn't. He can denounce all he wants. They're not going to, they don't care. The goal is to keep saying the lie that he says he gives shade to white supremacists. He talks about, I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists because they should be condemned totally. You have many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists. Okay? So there were people in Charlottesville who were there just to protest against taking down statues. Some people believe that they're not white supremacists. They believe that Confederate statues are a piece of history that should be shown, and then they're not white supremacists. Okay? So it has nothing to do with skin color. It has nothing to do with hating black people. It's about preserving a piece of American history, no matter if it was good or bad. We don't want it to be shunned. We want it to be studied. Okay? You want to put it in a museum? I think that's a fair argument. But as somebody who believes in history, tearing down statues is not part of history. So that's what he was getting at with fine people on both sides. 2016, CNN, Trump denounces David Duke. Okay, right here. CNN. Now they're saying he's a white supremacist. Denounces David Duke and the KKK. I disavow him. I disavow the KKK. So this is what Kelly McEnany was talking to John Roberts about. But John Roberts, I don't know what he was going through. But you don't, so if somebody says, this happened here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here, but I need it right now. No, it's here. He said it already. Doesn't have to say it again. And he said it again and again. NPR, Trump says, 2017, NPR. This is during Charlottesville. Racism is evil. Trump denounces the neo-Nazis, KKK neo-Nazis and white supremacists. Okay, here's the whole speech. Racism is evil. Here's the whole paragraph. I mean, it's right there in black and white. I mean, how do you not? It's the transcript. He said it. Okay? We condemn the strongest possible egregious displays of hatred, bigotry, and violence on many sides. This is hatred on the other side. They're not there to shade for anti-fascists. They are fascists. They want to shut you down. They want to shut down the country. They want to turn it into a socialist, communist society where they think they're going to have power. But Christopher Wray's too much of a chicken ass to say this is organization. There's no evidence that the Proud Boys is a hate group. The Southern Poverty Law Center says so? I don't think so. There's no evidence. And if you can, please show me. Thanks for watching. Please do your research. Take care.